it going? Morning. Really not much to speak of other than, I thought they practiced well yesterday. I thought they were, got after it, and it was good. That's how you want to come out after the weekend and put them in some good situations. And I thought both sides, offense and defense, really showed up and did some things that were good for us as it pertains to this mini camp. So I'll open it up to questions.
Yeah, Coach, I'd like to ask you about Quintez Cephas. He doesn't get a lot of fanfare, but just seems to come down with the ball a lot. What's your evaluation of him now?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think to this point it's very much like last year in an extent. He was, he was here, he put in the work. He's doing what we asked him to do. And last year it was kind of like put him in a competitive environment and all of a sudden he shows up. And that's when you really feel him. And yesterday we get in one of those competitive environments, and who shows up? He showed up again. So we don't ignore those things. I don't ignore them, So that was good to see out of him. We thought he did well. Look, I thought Trinity Benson did a hell of a job too, by the way. So he's having a hell of a spring. So, but yes, back to your Cephas, he shows up. He shows up in these competitive settings. That's a good thing.
What is it about Trinity just being here a full year now? Is it something that's made him more comfortable because he has sort of flashed out there for us?
Yeah, I think. Look, here's one thing is the fact that he's kind of started a little bit all over as far as verbiage with everybody else. Because we've changed enough things to where everybody's learning at the same rate now. And so to be able to do that, I think, is big. I think the fact that he's been around the guys, the quarterbacks, he's been here for, 6 weeks now and has built a rapport with the quarterbacks. And, they trust that he's going to be where he's supposed to be. And because of that, you see his confidence, and he's playing faster. He is running. Our defense feels it. And look, to this kid's credit, I know it's early. There again, I know we're in pajamas, but, he came up after the season. He's like, Coach, what do I got to do? What do I really need to do? And we talked about it, and he took it serious. And he's always put in the work, but it's a credit to him. So we're happy with where he's at right now. Well, get the playbook. That was number one. And we got to know that you're going to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And because then the quarterbacks will trust you and build that rapport. And when you do that, then you're going to play that much faster, which you're seeing right now in spring. And he's done that.
What do you see as his – we didn't see a lot of him last year. What do you see as his skill set? What's his strengths?
Trinity?
Yeah.
Speed. Like that's what's really showing. And you didn't always feel because he was feeling his way through it, and he wasn't real confident. And, as to – what I need to do here, what's the look, should I lean on him, should I break it in, out, and then the quarterback's waiting on, there's just this rapport that comes with it. And so I think his confidence is up, and the speed is what's really showing. And his hands have been, he's catching the ball well, he's plucking, so I think that's his major skill set. And look, he's tough. He's pretty tough. Like, I think he can help us on special teams. I think he can be a gunner. And so if we can feel that speed and he continues to catch the ball and do what he's done in spring, and then he comes out and competes at a gunner on special teams, I think that serves him well, serves us well.
Dan, we've talked about the leap players take from year one to year two. Are there players that you've coached in the past or coached against that, off the top of your head, took a huge leap from year one to year two? And for your second year class, just your level of excitement individually with some of those guys that they can take that big leap to help you as well.
Well, I mean, I would, it's hard to say when you phrase it that way. I don't know. Like, to me, that's where I feel like that is the most growth, year one to year two with most rookies. I mean, you're asking directly. Yeah, I played with Jason Witten. That was a huge jump from year one to year two, But there was, Jeremy Shockey was the other one. That's another one I actually played with. And then there's players that I've coached that it's Charles Clay made a huge jump from year one to year two. There's, but I think that to me is more of the norm. Now, how much do they make that jump? but I think that's what we anticipate out of our guys, and that's why we got them here. That's why they're here, is so we can continue to develop them and get them to take that big next step in year 2. And I've said this before, most guys can continue to get better and grow throughout the years, but I think it's hard to make that big of a jump after year 2. I think year 1 to year 2 is when you make the biggest jump.
I know you just said it's hard to assess things when they're in pajamas, so to speak, but is there anything definitive you feel comfortable saying about what you see out there? Either something general about the shape they're in, or the enthusiasm, or something, or is anything real right now compared to whatever will be in the fall?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that that's a good question. Look, I feel good with where we're at for what we're doing, and because I do feel like we are a step ahead of where we were this time last year. And I just feel like some of the situations that we're in now, and look, I told Ben Johnson and AG this, like, is a head coach, like, what is very satisfying for me right now that I'm feeling that I didn't necessarily feel this time last year, was that we were testing each other. You want to feel like your coordinators are playing a chess game amongst each other, and you're trying to be one step ahead of each other, and because now it creates problems, and then you learn to solve problems, and then you go to the next thing, and I think that's how you really get better schematically, and then just developing your talent. What can they do inside the system? Where can we take advantage of a weakness on either side? And I feel like we're doing that right now. So that's what gives me, that's what makes me feel pretty good right now, because I can feel our coordinators playing the chess game, and man, we are. There's problems being solved and created on both sides.
They can play the chess game better because they have more pieces.
Well, that never hurts. Mm-hmm. That never hurts. But I think that because of where we're at, with some of these young guys, that they're a year older and they're a little bit, they've got this base underneath them. They have a foundation of what we're trying to do in the system, and they, last year was the first time most of those young bucks have heard that. I mean, we're a young team, so they don't even know what they don't know. And now this year they've heard it before. They understand what we're trying to do, and now it's the next step in that process. And so I think that's what makes me feel pretty good, is that I feel like the mental part of what we're doing is we're getting better.
Walking around and seeing the ownership around. We talked a lot about the coaching staff growing, but from your perspective, it's like the ownership has been criticized for so many years. How has your perception changed with the ownership and just how involved they've been? You feel like they're trusting you guys more? What's your thoughts on the Lions ownership? I guess now seeing them around and having them around. I guess how has the relationship grew from year 1 to year 2 with the ownership?
Yeah, listen, it's hard for me to say anything negative about the Ford family. They obviously gave them the opportunity, but they also, when you're a head coach, all you can ask for is that they're going to give you the resources and support that you need to do what you need to do as the head coach and the GM. And they allow us to do that. Now, from Sheila's perspective, who is really who I deal with on a constant basis, to have your owner in the building and to be here and to know, she knows who we are. She knows the issues that we have as it pertains to, could be anything from players to concepts to, it doesn't matter. Man, it could be what's going on in the weight room, because she's around and she's hearing all of it. And so she knows from our own perspective, Brad and myself, as to how we feel about certain things, where we feel like we need to go, where we feel like we're deficient, where we feel like we can really, and I just think when that's the case, man, I think that's a recipe for good things to happen. And so having her around is big. She look, she has, and look, we'll ask for her input too. The last thing she wants to do is ever feel like she's butting in. And sometimes I wish she would butt in, And so she's been great. She really has. And we're a year later, and I couldn't ask for anything better than her for an owner. I trust her, and she's one of the people that I want to win for.
And we have seen Josh Pascal out there the last couple practices. Is he dealing with something?
He's got a. We're trying to be smart with him. He's got a really just lower extremity injury, but just trying to be smart. You know, there'll be a couple of guys we back off of today just to be smart. You know, try to get them out of here healthy. But all good.
Between guys who were sitting out yesterday, too. Any concerns about any of those guys for 6 weeks from now? Elliott sitting out.
No, I mean, I think it's, you know, there again, we got 6 weeks, and let's see how this rehab goes. You know, some heal, you know, faster than others. We hope they all heal quickly, but I think right now we feel pretty good.
The first year to second year jump. You obviously listed some tight ends. Makes sense given where you played and coached. But guy you got first, second year tight end here, Shane Zylstra. Didn't get a whole lot of snaps last year, and then suffered the unfortunate injury. But seems like he's moving really well out there, finding space. Where have you seen his growth with a year in the scheme?
Yeah, he's taken steps. The fact that he's out here with us in spring, I think, is pretty. I didn't know if we were going to be able to have him out here, you know, coming off what he did. But there again, that's a credit to him. He put in the work, and he's healed well, and he's another one. Man, just time on task, and for him to be able to get the reps. And I think he's got to be able to help us in the pass game first, and that's kind of what you're seeing out there. He's beginning to grow as a route runner and make a few plays out there. And I know the quarterbacks, you know, for spring right now, I think are developing some trust in him, which is a good thing. So, you know, we like where he's going. He's just got to continue on that road, you know. But he's getting better.
You probably detected there's a bit of a buzz growing for this team and HBO here and Hard Knocks and everything else. Do you embrace that, or can that be an impediment at all?
No, yeah, I mean,
team gets,
it's kind of like what Dave said yesterday when he asked it. It's not, that's, I mean, I really don't have a thought on it. I'm just kind of, I'm neutral on it. It's, we got a job to do, and anything at this point is irrelevant until we win games. So we got to win games. We got to set ourselves up to win games and go from there.
Yeah, I got one more on Khalif Raymond, who is, I mean, top 3-4 in targets, yards. I mean, big part of this passing offense this year. There's more depth in that position. What do you see his role maybe looking like as a pass catcher, and obviously being a key piece on special teams?
Yeah, it's kind of like what we told him last year when he was, you know, he was up as a free agent, and we told him that he can be a role player for us offensively, and he's our starting punt returner. And you know, we know we can use him as a gadget. We know we can put him in at the Z if we need him right now to take a load. We know we can put him in at the F if we need him to play a load or the slot. And so he brings a ton of versatility and really trust, reliability. Like, we know exactly who he is, what he's gonna be for us, and what he can do. And so I think to be able to take a little bit of a load off him offensively, to where you're still getting like maximum everything he's got on these offensive reps, and he's your starting punt returner, I think he can be even better. I think that'll make him even better. Yeah, just because, look, he's not a huge guy, you know, and so that body, man, it takes a toll, especially the way he runs and practices and hits and blocks. And I mean, this guy, he runs around and plays the game like he's 220 pounds, like from a physicality standpoint, and that'll take a toll at times. But look, we love Leaf, man. And now let me say this: he's another one. As I made the Aleem, you know, yesterday, but like pound for pound, he would fall into that category, one of the most explosive players we have on this team, you know. So, and he puts in the work. So glad we got him. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Dean.